All right, so I now want to talk about the importance of support classes and their support party skills in this meta, and why I think it's honestly more impactful. The importance of support classes are more important than ever before, in my opinion. And so, right before, support classes were so right. We took a lot of support classes prior when you could time leap Bishop Res, when you could time leap Phantom Res, and they were all on separate cooldowns, right? So you could have like you have multiple Phantoms with the Bishop, with time leap, and you could have all these mass reses and kind of abuse that skill, right? That was probably the only time I can think of when support skills were more important, impactful, right? For that, if you were to say that is, you know, the peak of support classes, hard to disagree with. Okay, but the reason why I say this time, and this time specifically for DPS, is because of, like we've talked about before, final damage, the importance of final damage, and pairing your big hard-hitting skills with final damage buffs, okay? So the classes I'm thinking about specifically, obviously Bishop. Bishop is the king, queen of support skills, whether it's healing, but it's also with the party buffs, okay? So just check this out for a second. And classes besides bishops that come to mind are Lin, Paladin, the benefits of Shade and Shade Split. But Bishop is the best example of how, like, of why bishops are so much more valuable than just Heaven's Door and just their healing. And the great bishops that know the class are actually boosting up your damage so significantly without you even realizing it. Okay, so here's what they do. Right, so this is things that I've been thinking about. So one, let's start off with what most bishops do at the start, right, or should be doing, is they should be throwing this Peacemaker out. Okay, so basically Peacemaker is going to give you a little buff. First, it's going to heal you for 30% of your HP. Okay, so it's going to fly, whoever it hits along the way, it's going to heal you for 30%. Huge. Right, but it also gives you a little final damage buff here. And this is level 26. So I think at level 30, it's going to be 10%. And it's going to be a buff duration for 30% when maxed. Okay, so if your bishop knows what they're doing, they're throwing this out pre-casting essentially. So everyone in the party gets 10% final damage right off the bat. I don't even have Peacemaker on this wheel. That's probably why it's so garbage. So like you'll see this buff right here. And then once it explodes, like you get this buff, okay? 30 seconds. So once you use it, right, you pretty much are going to have full uptime on it. Bishops are basically giving a full 10% Peacemaker final damage buff for the entire fight. Baseline. They probably do this of some sort. It's totally fine. Okay? Look at this. If your bishop is in non-RI mode, so Angel of Benevolence mode, they can give you final damage buffs here too. Party members, right? Another 10% with this buff. So 30 seconds every 2 minutes. So this is usually, most bishops will just have this on their pets or do it with their burst windows. It's giving you final damage buff, 10%, and also healing. So 10% every 3 seconds, okay? But I would say most bishops, are in this avenging let's see. Oh yeah, so never mind. You're getting both of these benefits. So you're getting 10% final damage. So this is baseline, right? I would say that most of the time you're getting these buffs without even noticing it. Peacemaker, Angel of Balance, 20% final damage. Okay. Benediction is the one where maybe they are using it, maybe they aren't. Okay, so you're getting final damage here. Another 10% final damage from Benediction if you're in the Benediction area, right? So I would say some bishops are using this off of cooldown or put this on their pet. So again, you're getting it with your burst up front. But I would say some people, bishops, maybe are holding on to their Benediction for certain situations for their HP scaling, okay? But just keep that in mind. Look, bishops can give another 10% final damage. So 1, 2, 3, 30% final damage right off the bat. Okay, that is just massive. right? That is just massive final damage that everyone in the party is getting. Just, just huge. Okay, and I'm gonna be honest, like this isn't even including the healing. I probably could be missing more stuff on Bishop because I don't know the class that great. Okay, here's another one. I'm pretty sure this is for healing. Final damage buff again. 15 seconds, 30-second cooldown. Right, so you can get another final damage. So the good bishops are placing all of these things down at the start of boss fights, and then the great ones are using these things, again, pairing it with every rotation, every 2-minute rotation for everyone's burst with origin, things like that, right? So if you're looking to, like, if you're just wondering, like, the levels of Bishop, Bishop is one of the most impactful classes that I think support classes is the most impactful support class, and I would say majority of them, especially if they're alts, don't know this, right? But if you're trying to like really help your DPS and play a great role, it's not just about the healing. It's about these final damage buffs and getting these things out to help boost your damage as well as the parties, okay? So they also used to have this little change that I think changes. Blood of the Divine used to reduce HP, or used to reduce healing, but it doesn't do that anymore. So this is nice. So just the point is, like, there are all these little small nuances to classes through more than just Bishop, more than just Lin, you know, Paladin. Other classes could have it as well. Battle Mage maybe could have it. I think Blaze Wizards have something. I don't know if it's final damage. Mechanics might as well. So just keep that in mind. There are little things like Paladins and Lin's final damage buffs are specific to their focus target, their echoed target, their focus target, right? But bishops, everybody's gonna eat. Okay, so that is why, like, and then you pair all this with Shade Split, which is 30%. Just imagine now, like, how much damage you would be doing if you just bursted your origin skill by itself and it did 30% more damage with Shade Split. On top of your other burst skills, on top of all these final damage buffs, you're doing 30% of your burst. Some people are doing, like, that is upwards of 10k lines at, let's say, 400 to 500 mil max damage cap. You're adding 30% on top of that. Just think about that. That number is astronomical, right? It's something that is just more valuable, I think. I mean, it's very valuable, right? So just keep that in mind. I think support classes DPS wise, as cap goes up, as stats go up, all of these little small final damage buffs, how you're pairing your personal final damage buffs with your burst skills is kind of what min-maxing is all about. And it's all really about kind of the difference between, you know, could be a difference between 5% damage more, maybe upwards of 10. So just keep that in mind. But I just want to bring this to people's attention because there are a lot of little small layers to this that is really fun and intriguing and kind of separates the good from the great, and, you know, the great even from the best of the best, right? And I think all of the best players are really trying to find ways to min-max these party buffs with their origin, with their split, with their burst, with their own buffs as well, to, you know, pump out as much damage as possible.